Hello, I'm Iris Matthews, a romance author. All right, it's time to talk about publishing. Why today? Because I just learned about an open submission call from Avon Books UK, an imprint of HarperCollins. If you're a reader or a new writer, that was a lot of jargon, so let's break it down. There are a few different avenues to having a novel published. There is traditional publishing, or trad, and there's independent, or indie, as well as self-publishing. Okay, let's take a look at each of these. Trad publishing was the predominant avenue for authors to get their manuscripts in print form for many years. But it is a long and arduous process with many hurdles. Like what? Well, most established publishing houses will not accept manuscript submissions directly from authors. Hang on, what is a manuscript? That's just a term for a not yet published book. And who are these established publishing houses? There are 5 major players because, well, capitalism. Penguin Random House, Hachette, Simon & Schuster, Macmillan, and HarperCollins, known as the Big Five. Then there are a number of medium players known as medium tier houses. Next are boutique or small press publishers that tend to specialize in what types of books they publish. If an author chooses to partner with a small, independent press, then this is indie publishing. But if the author chooses to self-publish, this can also be called indie because they do so independently. So it gets muddled. The takeaway is, when an author indie publishes, they often do more after the writing is done business work. This can include editing, formatting, typesetting, cover design, marketing, publicity, distribution, and more. But as the world changes, more trad published authors are encouraged to take active roles, aka do some legwork, in promoting their work on social media anyway. So some of what made partnering with a publishing house appealing has gone the way of the dinosaurs. Another consideration is that authors don't always get a say in some business decisions at large companies, such as the final title of their book or the look of the book. We'll talk about this another time in an upcoming video as we look at Dreaming of You. With all of these aspects to think over, why do authors still strive for trad publishing? There's lots of reasons, and I can't really speak to why other folks make their choices, but here are a couple of my reasons. Reach. While lots of self-published authors do well for themselves, it's difficult to build an audience when no one knows you yet. Another reason is the learning curve. I spent a whole lot of time figuring out how to make my website, and I'd just rather spend what few hours I have at my disposal for writing and revising. And I want to be honest here. This has taken me a bit of a journey to admit, but there is some amount of validation that comes with trad publishing. Listen, I struggle with imposter syndrome as much as the next person. All right, so here I am seeking traditional publishing. I put in the work to write and rewrite my book. Now what? Before doing much else, as an author, it's worth writing up a few materials for your author portfolio. That includes a few bios. even if you don't feel like you have much to say about yourself, look around at other authors and get creative. Next, write up a pitch. This is sometimes called an elevator pitch or logline. It's basically just the super concise hook that explains the who and the compelling what in a nutshell. I mean it. A sentence or two. It's hard. Ask your critique partners for help. Okay, next up, a synopsis. This is a 1 to 1.5 page tell-all of what happens. It is a snapshot of the main who and the main what in the basic structure. Instead of a sneak peek, this is revealing the end, so agents and publishers can tell the story is well developed. Finally, research comp books. Comp in this case is something that's comparable. These are books that are a little like yours and ones that are very recently published. There are a few reasons this is important. The first is that publishers use this when making P&L or profit and loss sheets to know if ideas are trending or too risky. The second is that agents use comps as a fast and easy way to convey a story idea. For example, it's a Frozen meets Tomb Raider in this action-packed snow magic treasure hunt. Okay, that was a weird example. Anyway, the third reason is that it is limitlessly helpful to be well read in your genre generally. Great! You've got your book and a portfolio of materials. What's next? Querying. Querying is the term used to describe the hunt to find a literary agent. Do you remember when I mentioned that most trad publishers don't accept manuscripts directly from authors? That is because they rely on agents to act as a go-between. Listen up. Agents will never ask for money up front. They only get paid with a commission once the deal is made and the author is paid. Publishers rely on agents to vet work and to be familiar with the industry. That means agents are good negotiators for authors. But keep in mind, they aren't lawyers and they do tons of after hours worth of work for very little money. As the publishing industry has changed over the years, there just aren't enough agents to represent all the authors. Plus, with tools like Query Tracker, it is relatively fast and easy for authors to find agents. So agents are inundated with requests for representation. Well, the content in this video got a little away from me, so we'll save our talk for what goes into a query letter for another time. But that is the gist of this basics video. Trad publishing is a convoluted beast that requires a lot of hoops and hurdles. But on rare occasions, publishing divisions, known as imprints, will send out an open call for submissions. And for those authors who have a completed manuscript and a portfolio ready to go and no agent yet, so authors like me, be ready to leap.